Hello guys, welcome back to What If Naruto Was a Prodigy Part 3. Last time we left off with Naruto just finished his 1 month training, and the the finals are about to start. So the finals are pretty much the same because the fights were the same. So Naruto versus Neji, and Neji knows that Naruto is really strong and is a prodigy, and Naruto says, I wouldn't really call myself a prodigy. At the beginning I was really bad, but then I became really good. And then after that Naruto just never. So basically at the beginning, Naruto, when he started learning things at the age of 5, he wasn't good at it, but then after the age of 6 he just started getting better, and every time he tried something he just learned it straight away like a prodigy. So people consider him as a prodigy. He is technically, but he doesn't consider himself as a prodigy. He considers himself as a hard worker. So Naruto and Neji start the fight. Naruto won't go all out against Neji, but he will try, because he always wanted to fight Hyuga, because he doesn't really get to fight Hinata or in a proper battle unless it's hardcore training, and he does fight him, and Naruto realizes that Neji is a lot stronger than Hinata, because in the 1 month training he's been working non-stop, and his rotation is pretty much impenetrable. He tries to throw a shuriken at his rotation, but he just kind of destroys the shuriken, so the tip became blunt just from touching Neji's rotation. So Naruto realizes he needs to try a bit harder, and Naruto wants to end the fight really fast because he wants to watch Shino fight and Sasuke's fight, because he's intrigued by Sasuke, Uchiha and Gaara from the sand, because he knows Gaara is a Jinchuriki. He can feel it. He feels the chakra and the immense amount of chakra levels inside of him, and he feels like Gaara is somewhat like a brother to him. So Naruto decides to throw kunai. This kunai had the Uzumaki seal on it, and you already know he's just gonna use the flying Raijin. No one knows about this except Kakashi and the 3rd Hokage, I'm pretty sure I said that, and Anko, because Anko did see him teleport. So Naruto throws the kunai, and Neji says, you couldn't even aim at me properly, and you think you can win? And Naruto's like, I wasn't aiming at you, and he disappears from Neji's vision, and everyone else notices Naruto disappeared, and now is behind Neji with the kunai that he threw in his hand, and he roundhouse kicked Neji into the face, and Neji really wasn't expecting this, but he's not knocked out yet, but he is pretty injured because of he was kind of stunned by Naruto's kick out of nowhere, because his guard wasn't up at that moment. So then Naruto says, do you really think now you can win, especially because you're pretty much done, look at you. Neji says, I can still win, and Neji goes for the attack, but Naruto disappears from Neji's sight and appears behind him. Right before Naruto kicked Neji, right before Neji got kicked away, as soon as Naruto's back heel touched, made contact with Neji's face, he put a seal on Neji's back. So Naruto teleports right on top of Neji's back. It's like, you make another move and you die, and Neji decides to give up at that moment, and everyone, the 3rd Hokage, Kakashi, and 4th Hokage's guards were there as well, and they just saw Minato inside of Naruto. Like, that's exactly what Minato did against the Raikage and other opponents, and they realize how similar he is to the 4th Hokage, and they all say in their minds, this kid's really something, isn't he? And Naruto wins, and all the fights go pretty much the same. Shino gets a default win. Shikamaru gives up even though he won the fight. He just gave up because he thought this was a drag. And then it's Sasuke's fight. Sasuke appears right in the last moment, and Sasuke is a lot stronger in this what if, even though I haven't put too much I haven't done too much of his life. Sasuke did train a lot harder with Kakashi. Wait, did I say Kakashi was already there? Yeah, I did. Sorry. Sasuke did arrive last minute, but not with Kakashi. Kakashi and Sasuke did finish the training in time, but Sasuke said, "Oh, I'm just going to practice just for a bit more since my fight is like one of the last ones." And Sasuke did appear out of nowhere and just got there in time right before he was about to get disqualified, and the fight starts. Sasuke is a lot faster because he did train harder, and and the fight pretty much goes the same until he brings out his Chidori. At first, it looks like a normal Chidori, but then right before it hits, he says fire control or fire style, or fire release, fire Chidori, fire electric Chidori, I think I called it, whatever, fire Chidori, and does fire. So as soon as Gaara gets stabbed, not only he gets stabbed and he gets pissed that he's bleeding, but he got burnt as well, and that just triggers Gaara, and the leaf invasion starts. So everyone is put on a genjutsu except for Naruto, Hinata, Shino, Shikamaru, Choji still put in it, and Sasuke, Sakura are still awake. And Kakashi does give the mission to all of them, saying Anko is still awake, and tells them, "Oh, go after Sasuke and Gaara," because Sasuke did follow Gaara just to destroy him. But Gaara, once his one-tailed form, Sasuke doesn't stand a chance. So Naruto and the rest go, but this time there is a lot more. There are more ninjas in the enemy ninjas in the village. So Sasuke keeps following Gaara, while one by one everyone stopped except for Naruto and Sakura. So Hinata tells Naruto, "I'll handle this," and because Shino said, "I'll handle these guys," Shikamaru said, "There's some people still following us, I'll handle them." And then some people and some ninjas appeared out, and Hinata just pushed Naruto out of the way and said, "I got this." And Naruto says, "I believe in you," and then he just goes on with Sakura. And then Sakura starts a conversation asking, "Hey Naruto, I've heard that you've never even went to the academy, but you still became a Genin." And Naruto said, "Oh yeah, I became a Genin at the age of 6. And Sakura is really confused because she said, "Wait, but to become a Genin, you need to be in, you need to go to the academy." And Naruto said, "But I learned different jutsus when I was from 5. So Naruto tells her, "I used to go to the library pretty much my whole life before I became a ninja, and I learned lots of jutsus from books I read." And Sakura is really impressed by how Naruto just became a Genin by reading books, and she told herself, "Why couldn't I be like him? I mean, I read books when I was young, but I still didn't become a ninja straight away." And Naruto says, "But only because I read books, it doesn't mean I became a ninja. Just because of that, I had to train hard as well." And Sakura realizes, "Oh, that's why, because I don't train." And this changes Sakura a bit, and she realizes that she needs to train. And once they arrive, Sasuke is already fighting Gaara, and Gaara is already midway his transformation. And Sasuke does let out his curse mark and still fails, and he's fainted. And Gaara goes for Sakura, and Naruto realizes that Sakura is going to die if Gaara keeps squeezing her with that sand arm. And Naruto decides, "I'm your opponent, just let her go." And Gaara's like, "Do you really think I need to let her go while fighting you?" And Naruto said, "You're the cocky one, huh?" And so Naruto just sliced through um, the sand arm, and Gaara was stunned by this, and he's like, how did you do that? And then Gaara was getting angrier and angrier till he transformed into the One Tail, and now Naruto decides that he cannot beat him by himself, and he just summons Gamabunta, and they do fight. Naruto does do the transformation jutsu into the Nine Tails, and they do beat him, and pretty much the same thing happens, but in the end Naruto does struggle to beat Gaara just a bit, not as much as in the original, but then he hugs Gaara and tells him, Gaara, I know how you feel, I've been treated the same way, I'm a Jinchuriki too, so if you don't have any friends, I can be your friend. Because Naruto is still has the same personality as I said in my last part, and Gaara realizes that he finally made a friend, and accepts that he lost and he has a friend now. And then right before Naruto took Gaara and the right before the Jonins arrived to take everyone else back, Naruto tells Gaara that the tail beasts aren't that bad, even though we have two of the worst ones, since they hate all the humans. The other 7 tail beasts don't really hate you humans. Naruto realizes that because Kurama says, oh, there are 9 of us and only one of them, the One Tail, is pretty much like me, and the rest are softies who actually became friends with their Jinchurikis. And Naruto realizes that not all of them are that bad, and he tells Gaara that the tail beasts who had freedom and they used to roam the world, but then they got captured by the first Hokage and they got imprisoned as into Jinchurikis, so they never had their freedom back. And Gaara realizes that Shikaku hates the humans just because his freedom was deprived from him, and he asks Shikaku, do you want to be freed? And Shikaku says, even if I'm free, you will die for it. And Gaara's like, but can you be free inside me? And then Shikaku's like, behind this cage, do you really think I can be free? And Gaara decides to let Shikaku out, and Shikaku realizes that Gaara's not scared of him but wants to be friends. And that moves Shikaku, because Shikaku never really had someone like that except for his last Jinchuriki, that old man who really said, oh Shikaku, I'm sorry for making you for imprisoning you. And Shikaku really was happy that someone actually gave him freedom, even though he's not fully free in the outside world. And Shikaku from now on will help Gaara. And Gaara now starts making friends, and his brothers, Temari and Kankuro, do tell Gaara that we've always tried to be your friend, but you always rejected us. And Gaara says sorry, and they all go back. Naruto is still injured. He's more injured than Sakura and Sasuke and everyone else, because he had to fight Gaara when he was in his rage mode, and his bones and ribs are cracked and everything, so he can barely walk. He did hug Gaara while they were falling, and then because their 2 massive beasts disappeared, and then they fell side by side, and Naruto did tell him. So Gaara is injured too, so he has to stay in the village, and the third Hokage still ends up dying by sealing Orochimaru's arms. So after a bit, Naruto is let out for like 2 to 3 weeks. Naruto's let out, and he tells Naruto, and Jiraiya tells Naruto that he's been offered the 5th Hokage spot, but he declined. And Naruto's like, why would you decline? And he said, oh, I'd rather I'm not suited for the Hokage spot because I have my spy network, but I know someone who is completely suited for it, and she had connection. She was the granddaughter of the first Hokage, so she's the perfect candidate, but we need to go find her. And Jiraiya asks Naruto to come with him, and Naruto's like, I need to ask my sensei first. Then now and Jiraiya tells him there won't be any missions for the next until the fifth Hokage is has been has till they find the fifth Hokage, which is Tsunade. And Naruto is like, okay, but still I want to tell them just in case. And then he does tell them, and Uncle's like, as long as you're with a Sanin, I'm pretty sure you're safe, so it's okay. And he tells Shino and Hinata that he will be out for a few weeks just to search for the fifth Hokage. And they tell him they wish him good luck and everything. And Sakura comes around and asks Naruto and thanks Naruto for saving her and Sasuke, and he's like, there's no there's no need to thank me. I just did my duty as a ninja of the leaf. And the sand does the leaf does forgive the sand because because they found that the Orochimaru, a leaf rogue ninja who they couldn't stop, did trick the sand and kill the sand, I mean the Kazekage. So the sand didn't really have any so the sand couldn't really be blamed because they all got tricked by one of the leaf ninja who attacked his own village. So they make a peace treaty, and Gaara goes back, says goodbye to Naruto. They do go out, and Gaara and Naruto, since they're injured, they leave at the same time. So they say goodbye to everyone, and everyone says goodbye to Gaara and Temari, Kankuro and Naruto. Especially Shikamaru and Temari have a heartwarming scene. They like, oh, it was a good fight, and they did like have a bit of a click, and they did start liking each other a bit. But that's it for them for now, and they go off their own ways. So Naruto is talking to Gaara for like a quarter of the way till they have to separate, and he does talk to Temari and Kankuro and asks them about how the sand looks, and the sand is pretty different, they say. And Naruto says maybe one day I can visit, and they're like, you'll be welcomed, and they just leave. And Naruto says goodbye and goes off his own way with Jiraiya. And Jiraiya says, hey Naruto, do you want to start a bit of training while we go on the way? And then Naruto's like, what kind of training? Sage mode training. And Naruto's like, how can we do that if we're not in Mount Miyaboku? He's like, oh, we can train on gathering chakra while moving as well. Even though you have to stay still, they want to try. They fail, of course, because they aren't skilled enough since they didn't master Sage mode yet, and they just gave up. And so they kept so they just had a bit of a rest while they kept going, and they did stop in a nearby town near the Leaf Village, and the Leaf Village did get attacked by Kisame and Itachi. They didn't get attacked. They saw Kisame and Itachi, and then once Sasuke was back up, like Sasuke was good like a few days after Naruto left, and he found out about this. And a few days after Naruto left, Naruto was left in the hotel room just to practice a bit on his chakra control, meditating and gathering a bit of nature chakra, you know, that kind of stuff. And then Naruto gets a knock on his door, and he can feel a bit of bloodlust, not too much from Kisame. And Itachi tells him, bro, Kisame, your bloodlust is leaking out a bit. And Kisame is like, oh crap. And Naruto does realize this, but he is kind of worried of what's going to happen next. So what he did is put a seal on. He opened the window. So Naruto opened the window and put a seal on the rooftop, and then came back in the room and opened the door and realized that it was. And then he saw two tall men. One, they were both dressed in black with black cloaks and with red clouds on it. And Naruto gets grabbed by Kisame, and he's about to teleport till Sasuke appears, and Kisame lets go of Naruto because he sees Sasuke using a Chidori and tries to attack Itachi. he's about to get in the way of Itachi and absorb the thing, the Chidori, but then he realizes Itachi is telling him has discovered, and he see and Sasuke is putting the Tsukiyomi for 3 days, but it's like 3 seconds or something, and he is traumatized, and and Might Guy comes in, and because Might Guy realized that Sasuke was missing after Kakashi was put under Genjutsu by Itachi, and Itachi, Uchiha, and Sasuke Uchiha are brothers, and he realizes probably Sasuke has gone after him, and he comes in and saves the day, but Sasuke is already under the Genjutsu. He comes in right after, to be honest, after Jiraiya comes in and does the toad mouth jutsu thing, and they escape, but then he disperses the jutsu, and the Might Guy appears and says, "Oh, so they're already gone," and then they say, "But Sasuke's in critical condition since he got strangled and put under Genjutsu," and he realizes it's the same Genjutsu as Kakashi's in, and he says, "Oh, we don't have a cure for this Genjutsu yet," and now now for the search of the fifth Hokage Tsunade is more important, because they need to cure not only they need to cure Sasuke and Kakashi. Lee doesn't need to be cured, because Naruto does kick Gaara away right before he breaks Lee's bones completely, he shatters them, but yeah, so Naruto keeps walking with Jiraiya to find Tsunade, till one night they stop at a bar to get some food, and they realize Tsunade's staying in that same bar. What a coincidence. So Jiraiya asks Tsunade to become the fifth Hokage, and Tsunade does disrespect the name of the Hokages, and Naruto does get angry at this and says, you alcoholic granny, how about you why are you disrespecting the Hokages? You know the third Hokage gave his life up for the village, and Tsunade's like, oh, that old man, he finally died, and Naruto just gets angrier and angrier, starts shouting at Tsunade, even though he is more cool-headed, but that just triggered him, because he knows about Minato being his father, and how the third Hokage just did take care of him when he was like 1 to 3, until he was 4 years old, and he could take care of himself a bit more, and he got angry at that, and then Tsunade's like, how about we take this outside, and then she says, I'll beat you with one finger. Naruto's nowhere near. He's stronger, but his strength is not as strong as high as Tsunade's, because if Tsunade was gonna punch a boulder, she would disintegrate it, while if Naruto was going to punch it, he would just make a crack on it. And Naruto does was about to do the Rasengan till Tsunade just made a crack on the road, and then he just falls while he's trying to run. And she says, and then she asked Jiraiya, so did you really think this kid could master the Rasengan? And then Naruto's like, who are you calling kid? And because Naruto's already triggered at this alcoholic grandma, what he says, and Tsunade's like, how about make a bet? If you can master the Rasengan in a week, I will give you this necklace and come back to the Leaf Village. And if you can't master it, you leave me alone. And Naruto's like, bet. Naruto's like, bet. And he does the Rasengan, and he's like, that's not it. And he adds a bit of lightning style, and he throws the Rasengan at Tsunade because he's pretty angry at her, and he vanishes, and Tsunade's like, wait, what is this? And then she gets blown away. She does fall on the ground because she's drunk, and she wasn't expecting this to happen. And Jiraiya starts laughing at Tsunade and says, you look like a kid who just you look like a lost kid right now. And Tsunade punches Jiraiya, and she does lose the bet, so she has to go back to the Leaf Village. So she has to go back, and Orochimaru can't really heal his hands because the Orochimaru fight doesn't really happen, and Tsunade doesn't really get over her fear of blood, but she has to because of she became the 5th Hokage, and Naruto just said you have to get over this fear, and she realized that Naruto had the same dream as Nawaki and her lover, and Naruto says, I will become the next Hokage after you, and she says we'll see about that if you become strong enough. And Naruto says, is that, are you trying to bet with me again? And Tsunade realizes that last time she tried to, the past few years when she did bets, she always lost. So she's like, no, I'm not going to bet because I'm probably going to lose. So Naruto starts laughing and says, yeah, whatever, see ya, Bachan. And when Tsunade is walking to her new office, she is blocked off by Konohamaru telling her that no, you can't take my grandpa's spot. And then Tsunade does barge in and says, hey kid, you need to get used to me, I am the new Hokage after all. And says and the kids Konohamaru does start crying and runs to Naruto and tells Naruto everything, and Naruto says, hey Konohamaru, you need to get over this, like, I know your grandpa has passed away and it's hard for you, but the Leaf Village needs a new Hokage, and she's the most qualified right now, especially because Jiraiya Sensei doesn't want to become the Hokage and no one else is as qualified. And Konohamaru comes to realize the fact that he has to accept her, and he says, alright, but only if you teach me a new jutsu. And Naruto's like, alright. So Naruto decides to teach Konohamaru the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and Konohamaru struggles at first, but then in a few months he does master it. By the time he's in the academy, he could just graduate, but he wants to keep going at the academy because he has friends now. So he doesn't always have to hang out with Naruto, and he wants to hang out with his friends as well. So Konohamaru doesn't show that he can do the Shadow Clone Jutsu. So now we skip back, we go to Tsunade again, who's heading to go heal, to cure Kakashi, and she heals Kakashi, and Kakashi says, thank you so much, legendary Sannin, Tsunade. And then Jiraiya's like, there's no need to call her legendary Sannin anymore, she needs the new 5th Hokage. And Kakashi's not really impressed because he knew the only 3 people who were qualified to become Hokage are probably the 2 Sannins that do not hate the village, and he is like, oh thank you 5th Hokage. And then Jiraiya's like, we still have someone else to heal, and then Kakashi's like, who? And then he says Sasuke Uchiha, and then Kakashi's like, oh, don't tell me he's going to another fight with Gaara or something. And then Jiraiya's like, no, he tried to kill Itachi Uchiha. And Kakashi was really just dumbfounded how his student could be so stupid and ignorant to just go up against someone like Itachi, who just put down 3 Jonin level ninjas in a blink of an eye. He put him in a Genjutsu without 2 of the Jonin realizing, and 1 was specialized in Genjutsu, and she didn't even realize either. Because Kurenai is not a sensei, but she does still hang out with her friends, which is Asuma. They do still have a love story and everything. And Naruto does go to Sasuke because he knows he's friends with Sasuke, and Sasuke does want to become as strong as Naruto because he knows Naruto saved him, and he's kind of jealous. So Sasuke is healed, and then he sees Naruto on the bedside, and he realizes that not only Naruto was able to beat Gaara, who he couldn't, and his brother was after him and not after Naruto and not him, his younger brother. And he's so jealous of Naruto. He's like, Naruto, I want to fight you right now. And Naruto's like, what do you mean? You're injured. And Sasuke's like, I'm fine now. So they go to the rooftop, and Naruto is not really angry. He's like, why do I have to do this? And then Sasuke says, shut up, you weakling, which kind of pisses off Naruto, which kind of ticks off Naruto, because he did just save his life and get the 5th Hokage for him to cure him, and he feels like he's being disrespected by someone who he saved twice now. And Naruto's like, how dare you do, how ungrateful can you be to someone who just saved your life twice in a row? And Sasuke's like, shut up. And Sasuke's about to do the Chidori. Sasuke does do the Chidori, and Sakura still tries to stop them. It's pretty much the same thing, but this time Naruto wouldn't really use the Rasengan. He would just use the Vanishing Rasengan without, and which does hit Sasuke right before Kakashi could intervene. And Naruto does beat Sasuke by blowing him away with his Vanishing Rasengan. So Kakashi's like, wow, Naruto, you really just had to do this. He's just gonna get more jealous now. In his he mumbles that to himself, and then he ties up Sasuke, telling him the same thing, that revenge isn't always the right thing, my friend, my student. And then the Soundful do come to Sasuke, and they do tell him, oh, how about you, are you seeking power? And then Sasuke's like, yeah. And he does the same things happen. Sasuke says goodbye to Sakura, and he leaves. And Naruto was just taking a walk outside, and then he hears Sakura screaming for help. She's like, help, help, help. She's like, help. And Naruto goes to Sakura immediately, because he thought an intruder came in or something. And she's like, Sasuke just left the village with 4 other ninjas. I think they were from the ninjas doing that barrier to trap the 3rd Hokage. And Naruto realizes that this must be Orochimaru's doing, and he says, you need to tell the Hokage. We need to go tell the Hokage. Naruto would want to follow him straight away, but if that was the Naruto in Team 7, but of course it's not. And he does take his ninja life seriously, and he wouldn't just follow someone who just left the village out of nowhere. He needs a plan. So the Sasuke retrieval team is set up, and this time Shino and Hinata are in it. So it's Kiba, Akamaru, Naruto, Neji, Shikamaru, Choji, and Hinata and Shino. So they all go out, and the same fights happen with the fat dude. I forgot his name. Was it Jirobo? And Choji does stay back and says, oh, I'll handle this. And Shikamaru's like, just please don't use the red pill. And Choji's like, I will try my best not to, my friend. And they do go off, and the same thing happens, but this time Choji does Shino's like, hey Choji, how about I'll stay back with you to help you. And then Choji's like, are you sure about this? He's like, yeah, I can back you up with my long range attacks. And so Choji and Shino stay back, and they do get injured, and Choji will have to use the red pill, and that happens. So now it's the same things happen, just that this time Hinata and Neji fight together, and Shikamaru stays back on his own. Same with Kiba with Akamaru. And now Naruto is alone, and he's following Sasuke, and he realizes that Sasuke is his friend, and he doesn't want, and his ninja way is to never let his friends die and to never go back on his word. So Naruto speeds up and is starting to blitz through anything. Not blitz. He speeds up and sprinting through trees after tree till he comes across Kimimaru, and Kimimaru is fighting Naruto, and Naruto does put up a better fight. So Naruto does put up a better fight, but is not much better, even though he has better techniques. He does try to use the Rasen Shuriken, but He just fails. He doesn't fail. He hits Kimimaro, but then Kimimaro is just a clone. So he made a clone out of bones. And Rock Lee, it was training when the Sasuke retrieval team was set up, and Rock Lee couldn't be found because he was training in the woods. So now Rock Lee is sprinting through the woods trying to find everyone. So he finds Naruto and he tells Naruto, I got this. And Naruto's like, are you sure about this? And he's like, yeah, I have a secret technique. And Naruto trusts Lee because he knows Lee is pretty much just as strong as him, maybe even stronger physically. And Naruto leaves Lee, and Lee has his sake and he does go drunkenly, and he's pretty strong then. So that's his secret technique, just saying. So Naruto now is following Sasuke, and they're back in the Valley of the End. So Sasuke is so Naruto is already injured from the fight with Kimimaro, because Naruto would win in a normal fight like this, but he's running low on chakra and he's already injured. So Sasuke has the advantage here, and Sasuke does go Curse Mark 2, and Naruto does start using some of the Nine Tails chakra, but it's still not enough because he's too injured. Even though he starts healing, he heals, but his chakra is still low. So Naruto does do a Rasengan. It's just a weak Rasengan. It's not as strong as it would be normally, and he wouldn't just use the Rasengan, he would use the Rasen Shuriken if he had to, but he doesn't have enough chakra now. And Naruto does still lose, and he's left by Sasuke, and then the Sasuke retrieval team is brought back to the village, and Choji is still as injured, and this time Shino's injured as well. Shikamaru is injured, not as much, not as badly, but Neji, Hinata got pierced through their shoulders, so they need a bit of surgery to get out the bacteria. Yes, I don't even know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm joking. So everyone has their operations and everything. Lee's legs are broken because his bones are shattered, because Kimimaro stabbed his legs multiple times with bones, and he does need surgery, just the same surgery as the one he needed when Tsunade in the original came back. And everyone, this happens, and Naruto realizes that he's not the strongest, and his chakra levels are weak, that they run out pretty fast, especially against people like Kimimaro. And he heard that and then Jiraiya's like, the Akatsuki are more dangerous than Orochimaru and Kimimaro, the guy that you said that beat you and Lee. But Kimimaro does die because of the illness, and he's taken back and buried, so by Kabuto, and he does take a sample of his DNA, of course, because this is going to be in the future. So Naruto does go out to train with Jiraiya for 2.5 years, and in that span, they don't train in Sage Mode, they instead train in increasing their chakra levels. So a 1.5 years he spends training in his chakra levels, and then for another half a year he trains on doing chakra control, because he wants to control his chakra and not run out too fast, especially when he uses big moves like the Rasen Shuriken. So now Naruto is pretty much a beast. He was already a beast, and he's now even a stronger beast. So Naruto has another 6 months left, and he decides to train a bit with Jiraiya in Sage Mode. Jiraiya masters Sage Mode, but now Naruto hasn't mastered it yet, because Naruto doesn't take it too he's not really in a hurry because of pain, but he's still in a hurry because of Sasuke. He wants to he broke his promise to Sakura and everyone, and he is like Jiraiya in the pain arc. So his Sage Mode needs Ma and Pa, but he doesn't use Sage Mode. He's like, I'm not going to use Sage Mode until I master it. So Naruto will master Sage Mode near the Pain arc, because that's gonna come in a later part. It's probably gonna come in part 4 or 5. But now Naruto returns to the village, and he has a bad feeling. He just has a bad feeling. Like Naruto knows how to control a bit more. He does have the key to the gates, but Jiraiya's like never opened the gate yet, because you need to master Sage Mode before doing that. And Naruto listens to Jiraiya, even though he wants to open the gate and let Kurama free. And Naruto hears that the Kazekage got captured, and he does go with his this time a team is made with Kakashi, Anko, Sakura, because she's been training in medical ninjutsu, Sakura, Kakashi, Naruto, Anko, Shino, and Hinata. This team of 6 is made to go help out the Leaf Village. I mean the Sand Village, and they do meet Temari midway while they were trying to go to the Sand Village, and Naruto is sprinting through because he's a Jinchuriki and he knows how Gaara feels, and Gaara became the Kazekage and now has been captured, and he doesn't want Gaara to die because he knows that the Akatsuki want the tail beast inside of him. So here the things kind of change, and Naruto does get to the Sand Village. Kankuro is killed, and Granny Chiyo does go with the Gaara retrieval team. Yes, Gaara retrieval. So they do find out that Gaara's already dead by the time they find the Akatsuki layer, and then Team Guy is dispatched by the 5th Hokage just to back up team, let's say Team Kakashi, because Kakashi is the strongest there. Team Kakashi and Anko. So Team Guy does have the same fight, and Naruto is still angry that, and he lets out 3 tails of the. He has 2 tails already out, even though he can barely control 2 tails, and Kakashi knows that he can control 2 tails, but once he sees the 3rd tail come out, he just puts the chakra ceiling tag on Naruto, and Naruto does go back to his normal self, and he realizes that he needs to go after Gaara, and Kakashi is like, don't worry, I got this, and he does use the Kamui, and the same things happen. Deidara has to escape without Gaara, and Gaara is still dead, and that's it for Kakashi and Naruto. So Kakashi is exhausted. Naruto has to carry Kakashi and Gaara back to the Sand Village, and he starts heading off to the cave again, but he's much slower because he overused a lot of chakra while following Deidara, because he was overflowing with Nine-Tails chakra, and he completely ran out of chakra, so he could barely carry both of them together and walk. And now we go back to Granny Chiyo and Sakura's fight against Sasori. This fight is pretty much the same. Sasori does get his 1000 puppets out, and Sakura and Granny Chiyo do go through them like nothing, and then Sasori does have to show that he's a puppet himself, and Sasori is apparently killed, but he did put his coin to a different puppet, and then he comes back and he's about to kill Granny Chiyo and Sakura, but then he lets himself get stabbed by the mom and his mother and father puppet, and he gives the information to Sakura, telling them about Orochimaru's that he used to meet up with Orochimaru. So now Sakura and Granny Chiyo go back, and Naruto is about to fall until Team Guy arrives, and Guy takes Sasuke. I mean, what am I saying? Guy takes Kakashi, Lee takes Naruto, and Neji takes Gaara. So they all head back to the Sand Village, and Granny Chiyo and Sakura do head back as well. And once they arrive there, Naruto wakes up and realizes that Gaara is dead, and Granny Chiyo's Naruto does help Granny Chiyo. He did recover some chakra and helped Granny Chiyo get revive Gaara, and then he didn't really leave. He did realize Granny Chiyo is dead and paid his respects, and everyone paid respect to had the moment of silence for Granny Chiyo. And so that's it for the first arc of Shippuden. Yes, I did do the Chunin exams, the Sasuke retrieval arc, and the first arc of Shippuden in 45 minutes. I know I said I will only do the finals and the Sasuke retrieval arc in the last part, but I just felt like doing this because I have something in plan in my head of the next part. I'm going to have Sasuke learn different techniques and have a stronger and then I'm gonna make Sasuke have to train much harder. So now let me do this right now. So Sasuke is with Orochimaru, yeah, so the same things happen, and but this time Sasuke wants to train even harder. So Orochimaru has to accumulate 4,000 people a day for Sasuke to fight off and kill. So Sasuke has to go through rigorous training that completely stops him from feeling anything except for revenge against Itachi. So Sasuke does develop the Kirin, but this time he develops a Kirin with fire style in it as well. So he does have a Kirin that burns as well, and he's pretty OP right now, and he knows how to use his sword, how to add fire release and lightning release to his sword now. And he did learn how to he did learn stronger Genjutsu, and he is at Naruto's level right now. So yeah, so Naruto so now we go back to Naruto, and Naruto does come back to the Leaf Village and he's exhausted. They do take a rest, and what's it called, Tsunade decides to make a new team because she knows that they need a team to stop the Akatsuki from now on, and she makes a new team with Anko, Kakashi, Sakura, Sakura, Shino, Hinata, and Naruto. Those 6 will be the backup for the next part where Shikamaru's team has to fight Kakuzu and Hidan. Hidan and Kakuzu do capture the 2 tails and the 3 tails, and they do seal them up, and the 4 tails captured as well. So they only need the 5 tails, 6 tails, 7 tails, 8 tails, and 9 tails. So those will be in the next part. The next part I'm probably gonna do the Naruto's training, and this time Naruto will train in learning new ninjutsus, and he will try to control more of the 9 tails with Yamato will be added to the team as well because they need to control Naruto's 9 tails. So that those 7 are the team, and they do go to the bridge. All 7 of them, they do go to the bridge, and except for Kakashi doesn't go for this one, but Anko and Yamato go to the bridge. So Naruto does still have the same reaction when he sees Orochimaru with Kabuto, and Orochimaru is telling him all about Sasuke, how he's been training him, and Sasuke doesn't care about the Leaf Village anymore. And Naruto's still angry that he allowed Sasuke to go. He was weak, and he does let the 4 tails out, and the same things happen there as well. So now this time Anko, Yamato, Naruto, Sakura, Shino, and Hinata do go to the hideout to find Sasuke, and Sasuke does say the same things, and they leave again. So that's it for part 3 of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy. I know everything is pretty much is going the same, but the next part is going to be amazing because not only Naruto will be training, but Kakashi will be training as well. Kakashi will learn how to use the Kamui better, and he will learn add uh, fire release to his Chidori as well, and Naruto will try to teach Kakashi the fire phoenix, the phoenix fire. Was it Phoenix Fire Jutsu? And the same jutsu that Itachi used, when he did a little fireball and then threw shurikens and the shurikens absorbed the fire and there were fire shurikens. It's a pretty OP move, to be honest. And Naruto does, and this will be all in part 4 of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. And next part is going to be amazing. I'm telling you, I can already tell what it's going to be. And thank you for listening. Take care, stay safe, and peace.